Yo, what's up, everyone? Welcome back to today's video. Yeah, I'm just gonna be breaking down some of the things that can help you. What ICC, how to trade ICC, how to spot those setups. Yeah. So if you're new to the channel, don't forget to like the video if you like it. Also, don't forget to subscribe. Also, turn on your notifications so you don't miss our future videos. Also remember that we always have weekly Zoom videos that we upload every day. I try to make it easier for people to understand my thought process in terms of, well, how I trade ICC and how they can be able to trade it as well. Maybe it might help one way or the other in their progress. The ultimate goal is to see everyone actually, eating, you know. So that's the main goal. So overall, let's get right into it, right? So I wanna show exactly how we got this, these gold buys to the upside. People were thinking, probably gold will sell because, it broke this low here. But there's something I wanna kind of, explain, go into depth with, especially, understanding your lower lows and, the trend actually as a whole. Lower lows, lower highs, higher highs, and higher lows. So I want to get into that so you can actually get the concept. And also, I'm gonna be showing you guys a tool that you guys can use to actually help you mark off these levels, right? So basically, this trade, as you can see, we got this trade here. So we haven't really closed the trade, and we are up around. Let me see. Yeah, we are up 8,000 on one account, and then the other I'm up to over 10,000 USD. So those are platform accounts. I'm with Alpha Capital group, so it does work for me best. Right. All right. Let's get into it. So I'm gonna clear the charts so you can probably get the feel of how everything looks, right? So let's start off with the 4 hour. Actually, let's start off with the 4 hour so everybody can be on the same mindset that I'm trying to explain right here, right? So as you see, gold has been very much been bullish overall for the past, I think few months, but you wanna focus on what's been currently happening recently, right? So remember I did mention that there's a tool that I use to help me, especially when it comes to I would say to help beginners, because for me it is easier to spot. But whenever I explain on those weekly or daily sessions we do for Zoom every day, I always try to show them how they can use this tool. But basically, I want you to use this tool on a 1 hour and a 4 hour only. You understand? So it can help you understand, plot out those levels for you, your higher highs, your higher lows, and all those kind of things. Is I would say it's 90% accurate. So yeah. So I'll switch on the indicator, and as you can see, we've been very much been bullish on the 4 hour. So as you can see, we are overall an uptrend. We have higher highs, higher highs, higher highs, higher highs. We have a higher low here, but there's not much to see now on 4 hours. So we want to go down to 1 hour just to get more details of everything, right? So as you can see, yeah, as you can see, we had this high, all right? We had this higher high, we had this higher low, and then price went up and then gave us an indication to the upside, breaking this previous higher high, right? Came down, created the higher low. This was actually a higher low, right? And then went up to actually this for me. These are equal highs for me, right? I will explain later. These were equal highs for me, right? Because it didn't close above really. It just 15 minutes just closed exactly at that point and then started to shoot back down, right? So and then it created a lower low. Remember, higher low, lower low, right? And then if you are in a trend, you're gonna have lower lows, lower highs, lower lows, lower highs. But the moment you start having a higher low on a downtrend, that means the trend wants to go up. You understand? So the chances are the trend will go up. So the next thing that we'll do, if the change is changing, if the trend is changing, it will start breaking the highs. That means now we are bullish. We're no longer bearish, right? Okay. So I'm gonna switch this thing off. Remember, it just showed us exactly. what's currently happening. We had this high, we had this higher low, this higher high, we had this lower low, right? Now it was showing it was to sell, right? Created this lower high here, right? And then created a higher low. This higher low here is what made us take this buy entry. I will explain more, right? Um, and then let's just switch everything off, right? So I know, and I always remember, I always say, look for where price is bouncing, levels where price is always bouncing off, right? So for me, the level that actually stood out on 1 hour is actually this level, because price bounces off that level. We had price coming up, bounce off below, and then bounces again, same thing. It's been reacting to that level more frequently, just like I did, put it out this side. So that's what's been happening, right? So as you can see, that's that level that you have there, right? And then as you can see, remember, just to remind ourselves, we had this lower low here, we had this lower low, and then we have this higher low, right? But now remember, from the get-go, this on a 4 hour, this is where the indication came from, right? So this is where the indication came from, where price created a higher high, created a higher low, and then went up to shoot and create a higher high, right? So now we have this level here where price went up to get the higher high, started to correct back into the higher highs, and then started to shoot back up. We caught this trade also the other day, but our target was just at 3,900 gold price, but then it got to here and then started shooting back up. So personally I closed at break even. People took profits, but I closed at break even because I believe that it was going to go up, but it came back down, right? So this level is where the higher high came from, right? This was the higher high. And then you have this as an indication where the indication ended up, right? So the indication actually ended up there, right? So let me just do this actually. Yeah. So the indication came off this higher high and then, to create another higher high, right? Price started to correct down, went up again, until this level. So this became equal highs. Price started to shoot down, breaking this low here that was created, this higher low that was created on a 1 hour, and then giving us a lower low, a lower high. But then it needed to continue. If we were gonna be bearish, we needed to continue giving the lower lows, and then maybe a lower high, lower lows. But that wasn't the case in this scenario, right? So price started to move back into this. Now you have to remember that on this indication, price is already showing you that anything above here would be bullish. You understand? Would be bullish. And also because of this level that I see here, that price has been bouncing off, anything above that price, above this level of support, would be also be bullish until these levels right here, right? So we have those things in mind. We also have the trend in mind that 4 hour we are bullish, right? So 1 hour, once we become bullish on 1 hour, now it's time for us to correlate everything also on the 15 minutes and on the 5 minute, right? So I have this thing I've been showing people that you wanna, for a level of support, if you have a level of support, right? If you have a level of support and you want to catch a trade, because now everything correlates, even on, let's say, on the 15 minutes, everything correlates, right? But you want to be able to get an entry. The perfect way for me to get an entry, let's say price came down, something like this, started to consolidate below and, having this kind of movement. The perfect way for me, I would wait for it to break above. Now, this is a high above these lower highs that were created, right? And then it you should it should immediately come and create a higher low. You wait for it, especially in the 15 minute. You wait for it to create the higher low, right? And then your entry would be based off this higher high that was created on a small time frame, on a 15 minute, right? This is where your entry will be, and then your stop loss will just be under. Your stop loss will just be under the higher low that was created. So you guys can use this. Reason being, price can easily come up, break above, and then shoot back down. So if you enter somewhere here, you end up being taken out of the trade, right? And then that's something that you don't want to find yourself in. So you want to have it break above the level of support or resistance, whatever the case may be, depending where price is. You want to have it break above, come back, create a higher low to give you that confirmation that, okay, you create a higher high, now it needs a higher low to go up, create another higher high, right? So your entry would be based off that higher high. You wait for it to create a higher low. Once it creates a higher low, you can wait for it to come here. Once it's here, you can take a trade. But once you've seen there's a candle close that created a higher low, not a weak, a full candle that created a higher low, right? And then price started to shoot back up. So that's what currently happened in this scenario. So same thing, vice versa, when you're dealing with the down with the price actually breaking below, right? So price breaking below, you wanna have it create a lower low, create a lower high, and then before you can continue to shoot to the downside, right? So your entry also will be based off of this lower low that was created, right? So you're gonna be taking shots from here once you've have once the chart is or price has created a lower high for you, right? And then your stop loss will just be above that lower high, and then you can take that trade. Usually 1:3, 1:4, 1:5. So you need to be also be realistic in terms of your your targeting and everything, right? Okay, so let's look at this now. Let's go to 15 minutes. Like, so our entry actually came off as you can see here. Um, yeah, let me show you. Our entry came off here, right? I wanted to see a break above this, come and retest, and then shoot up, right? So as you can see, the market did exactly that, right? So the market broke above, came back to retest this level, and then started to shoot up, started to go up, right? So that's where I wanted to be. So this was the entry. The entry was based off this higher high that was created. This is a higher high, this is a higher low, right? So once that higher low was created, then I got in the entry. Once price started to move to the upside, I got in here. That's where we got the trade. So I got the trade from here, as you can see. And then I can then use that target there at the top for my take profit. Then my stop loss was just under, sorry, my stop loss was just under here. Yeah, my stop loss was just under here. Yeah, that's where my stop loss was actually. Yeah. So as you can see, this was the trade, right? So that's how we got the trade. But I also saw a level below here where I saw price also reacting off of. So I wanted to see a nice clear break above that level where price has been reacting off of. As you can see, price was kind of consolidating, reacted off this, created that high, right? So and also price came to this level and shot down. So I wanted to see a nice clear break above it because price was consolidating between that level, but my stop loss was just under here and then almost got taken out, but price started to shift to the upside. I think it was around yeah, almost before the NFP session, but there wasn't really much of a movement yesterday in terms of NFP on gold. So yeah, I got into the trade and then we started to move to the upside. So remember to start with the higher time frame, the 4 hour and the 1 hour. And then you can use that indicator, which is the higher high, lower low indicator on trading view. It is made by lonesome the something, yeah, lonesome the blue, you know. It is made by lonesome the blue, so you can actually use that to be able to trade, I mean, mark off your levels, in terms of your where your indication came off, and then where to expect price to maybe probably come back to, and like I did say on the other Zoom meet video that we did upload that I prefer price to actually move up when it's in a trend to actually do something like this, right? To actually come and correct within this previous higher high that was made, right? If I get an indication to the upside and get a higher high, I want price to come in, correct back into this. It comes much easier for me because I know that anything above this would be bullish because of that indication. So once price breaks above, I can be able to take trades. Unlike when price is just coming to retest at the top of the higher high, right? So it just comes and retest at the top and then shoots up. We can look for levels, maybe probably based on the structure that was formed. We can look for levels to start, on a small time frame, probably on 15 minutes or 1 hour, whatever the case may be, right? So, but I prefer most preferably for you to come, correct back into, as long as we're not breaking the lows. As long as we're not breaking the lows, then we sort it, right? So I prefer to come correct back into the previous high. Same thing with the lows. If you are in a downtrend, I prefer something like this, right? Um, I prefer it to come and correct back into the lower lows, right? Correct back into the lower lows, the indication, the correction into the lower lows, and then we sell, right? So I know that anything below this level of support would be bullish, it would be bearish actually, and anything above this level of resistance would be bullish. So that's how I prefer, taking these trades, with ICC, and then I can scale down to these smaller time frames to look for those, breakouts, and then those retests, and then I take a trade based on where the breakout ended. So which in this case, on this trade of gold, we did make a higher high and then a higher low on the 15-minute, and as you can see, let me just zoom in a bit. Yeah, we made a higher high, a higher low, and then price started to move. Was consolidating here, but eventually it continued to go up. So this took us about, yeah, almost, yeah, almost 12 hours to get to this point. But overall, we didn't close. We see what the market does on Monday. And then yeah, but I've moved my stop loss to break even, so it's not gonna be a loss for me. So yeah, pretty much. All right. I hope this video was very, very much helpful, guys. So you can be able to, start getting big, start getting profitable, and I highly recommend using these platforms. As much as the platform game is not reliable at the moment, try to go with the reputable ones, like the likes of E8, I think, FTMO. There's been some noise around Funded Next, but I've been seeing some people getting their payouts. Just read the rules, guys. I think the main problem comes from people not reading the rules, and then they cry when the platform doesn't want to pay. So read the rules, what the rules says. Can you stack your orders? You can't trade the same way you trade on your personal account than, or based on the pro forma account. You can't trade the same way because on your personal you can stack orders. On Profirm you cannot stack orders. You can only open one trade maybe in a space of 5 minutes. You can't open a trade before the news, like 1 minute before the news. Read those things so that you can eventually get your payouts, right? All right, guys. Thank you very much for watching. You guys have a great day. Enjoy your day, and please practice. And then there's gonna be a link down below for our free community. We don't sell any courses, and that 7-day course is still coming, guys. I'm still preparing for it, and also I will be speaking about important things. It's gonna be a 7-day course, probably that can help everybody, and then we're gonna drop it this sometime this October, but it's gonna be up soon. So we're gonna be uploading each single video every day, so you can always go back to look, and also don't forget to watch the other videos, the weekly Zoom sessions. They probably can help you, with your back testing or whatever the case may be, right? So yeah, pretty much. Thank you very much for watching this video. If you enjoyed the video, please like and subscribe, and switch on your notification. All right, cheers.